Well, this is Delta Goodrem doing my story behind Paralyzed, and that's going to be coming up in about 30 seconds. So, hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Matt Criscuolo coming to you up close and personal. I hope you're doing well out there. You know, I'm sitting over here looking at my to-do list. I have a double-sided to-do list. Let me show you what it looks like. See? Every day I take an index card and I write on it, and a lot of the time it's double-sided. And I just cross it out as I'm going through each and one of my tasks and stuff like that. And it helps me to stay on top of things and keep my head above water. And it helps me to move forward and push kick the ball down the field, so to speak. So for those of you out there who have maybe a little difficult time kind of tracking everything or keeping up with everything, or kind of getting lost in what you need to do and then not doing it because you're procrastinating or whatever, start making a to-do list like that, and you'll see that you'll execute, because once you put it on paper you feel obligated to get it done. But you have to do it every day. Go to the store, get yourself some index cards and start doing that, and you'll be surprised how effective it is. And anyway, you also somewhat become a slave to it. So just, you've been warned here, okay? So let's get right to Delta Goodrem and see what's going on. I did one other reaction to her for the first time about 2 weeks ago. And I got to thank you all for telling me about her. She is amazing. The real deal. Real deal. So let's get right to this. I'm curious.
You're recording, right? Yeah. I wanted to share my story and say why I hadn't had music out for so long, and why this song and why I wrote it. It's been a strange process not actually sharing it straight away, but I just didn't know if I was ready yet.
I know that you're deliberately trying.
You know what? For a second, when I introduced this, up until this moment, when I introduced this video, I thought it was a song or a video called Paralyzed. But now that I'm remembering correctly, reading from some of your comments, I believe this young lady was paralyzed, and I don't know anything beyond that. But I'm going to find out.
Brought here, but
Yes,
I know you are, and you're talking about coming into your own as a woman and sharing stories through this song about being vulnerable and transparent. But like, specifically with this song, what's going on for you to feel that so strongly?
I'm taking this as like a rebirth thing. That's what it means. Rebirth. 34. This bot. I won't go out. I'm super embarrassed. Just over it. Over it. Just trying to stay positive. My livelihood is my sound. Trying to decide whether this is getting any better or not. Doesn't feel like.
Not comparing anything that ever happened to me like what's happened to her, and I don't know, but it reminded me, as a saxophonist myself, how every time I would go to the dentist to have like a root canal or some kind of cavity, I was always really in fear of the dentist nicking or damaging what's called the mandibular nerve, which affects this I guess the sensation in the lips or the bottom lip or something like that, which could totally end your your ability to, I think, to play a wind instrument or a brass instrument for that matter. But I really got emotional there when I look at this woman. After her watching and listening to her on that video that I did, and the way she sings, and then to see this, it's just, it's a little much for me, I
have escaped, and I am looking at the view in the hospital, and I got cheeky coffee. Zd. Fuck. Sa. Sa.
Try it. You're doing great.
I don't think so.
You are.
This is bizarre. It just gets really tiring trying to get your brain to talk to your tongue. Maybe I just have to work a bit harder at talking better. When the sunlight strikes, when the sunlight strikes, when the sunlight strikes.
Chet Baker, one of the greatest jazz trumpet players in history, was at the top of his game pretty much at one point. And he was a very fiery and strong trumpet player. Could play in the upper register really, really well, and just was a great player. Got his teeth knocked out. Probably not in the right place at the right time. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and probably not living his life in the best way, which led to him having some serious nerve damage and teeth knocked out, and he had to relearn how to play the trumpet, and could never get back to where he was originally, playing in the upper register of the trumpet. Now here's a guy that was at the height of his game, recording, famous, you know what I mean? And then that happened. And what happened was that he ended up coming back to the best of his abilities, but he basically capitalized on what he was able to do after the teeth situation. So within his limitations, he was able to get really good at the stuff that he could do. And as a result, he ended up actually, you could say, being one of the only trumpet players, if the only trumpet player, who played in the lower register as much as he did, and because of necessity. And, you know, that's the bright side of having limitations, is that you draw a circle around your limitations and you just basically try to do the best you can with what you're dealing with. Django Reinhardt, another fine musician, guitarist. I think he was Hungarian or something like that, but you know, had physical challenges. A lot of athletes, you know what I mean, who have that kind of stuff, and then they end up. But you know, it's always very difficult, you know, to look at what's going on here with Delta. She already looks like she's doing better as this video goes on, but just my heart goes out to anybody who has to deal with that, you know.
When the sunlight strikes, raindrops in the air. This had been a little bit harder than I expected, but all is going to be okay. D major, downward, arpeggio.
Music. It's now. Now. I have to go now. Not waiting any longer. Not getting any younger.
It's interesting the way she writes music. It looks like she uses the app, you know, she uses a laptop to notate it. I got to get with that program, man. I still use a number 2 Ticonderoga pencil and manuscript paper. Oh, man.
Doctor pours these alive. He told me you won't fly. Cancel everything.
And I hate to interrupt it again, but I wanted to just point out another thing that, you know, in that human experience that we all have, where we have struggles and challenges, at least also in the art world like this, I'm thinking to myself that as she's writing music coming from this place, that's the kind of music that, at least for me and from what I've observed, is what resonates the most with people, because that pathos and that pain that's in the music, it's when music is happy music, it's one thing. When it's dance music, that's another thing. It's all good, but there's something, in my opinion anyway, that when there's music that has like a certain kind of pathos to it, like Ennio Morricone, or what she's going to write, I'm assuming coming out of this experience. It's just, I don't know. For me, it just has a gravitas to it that it touches something. It resonates in a more profound way for me. I like to be happy, obviously. I'm sure you do too. But I do like to have music and art transport me someplace deep and sometimes dark. You know what I mean? If just for a moment, just to kind of remind me of, to have that contrast of the bitter and the sweet, the yin and the yang, the good and the bad. But of course, I like to live and be in the good, in the happy,
I still am a bit confused at how it feels a little bit different to sing now. And I'm still finding that new space, so that's a little bit heartbreaking. Is this the way life goes? Everyone is singing their love songs, and I can see the find my own tune. I've been on the inside for so long, they knew that truth. All of my plans have been silenced overnight. We're in a new studio. It's They said it would take a year, and it has. I don't think it's going to fully ever be the same as what it was before. There's people who go through a lot worse. Is this the way that life goes? In that moment last year, I was dropping so much into, here. And then you have to start pedaling with your heart. So I've just got to pedal with my heart.
Can speak now and won't shut up.
Better time, big dreams. Open your mind for you to find a little strength inside. Stop and rewind. Stop and rewind. Stop and rewind. With a little strength inside. Stop and rewind. Everyone is singing this love song, and I feel like I found my own tune. I was on the inside for so long, now they know the truth. See, all of my plans, they were silenced overnight. More than I know was paralyzed. Everyone is singing this love song.
I've been in the studio myself many, many times over the years, and I have to say it's a great place to hang out. I love it. Not only just recording studios, but also even radio studios, broadcasting studios. Because whenever I've done records, I've gone on radio stations to promote it and, stuff like that. And I had a friend that he used to be a DJ, a jazz DJ, and I used to go hang out with him. But being in the recording studio and looking at Delta here, being in the recording studio, it's such a nice place to be, especially when it's a studio that has a lot of, earthy feel to it. I like the earthy feel studios. I'm not crazy about the white, cold, modern kind of studios. I like those rustic, barn looking places,
Most importantly and most of all, I'm grateful. I'm just grateful to get to do what I love to do. And I hope it all means something special. Stop it, rewind.
You never know what someone is going through in life. In 2020, everyone has a story. Ask people around you, even the strong ones don't. Even if you're okay. Love and respect for my doctor and all and the nurses in St. Vincent's. We are all healthcare, unless everyone's current. Yeah, it's. You know, it is true. I mean, we take a lot of things for granted, and it's natural. Come on, you know, we walk around, we talk, we walk, we jump, we this, that, and that's why, you know, when I said that I like certain songs and art that takes me to a place, because it kind of reminds me, like I said, of all the stuff that we have to be so grateful for, because things are fleeting, life is fleeting, things are fragile. I mean, geez. I'm 50 years old and I'm getting a hip replacement in a few weeks. I'm not really too thrilled about it, but, you know, I have my dad for inspiration. That guy is like the $6 million man. That guy's gone through so much stuff, and he's 75, and he's a great inspiration to me and so many others. So I'm going in with a positive attitude, but, you know, just something simple like walking. I mean, I could walk, but it hurts like a. Anyway, take care of yourself out there. Take your vitamins, your supplements, you know, try to get some exercise in, you know, cut back on the sugar if you can, and you know, just take care of yourself, man. You know, we're all on this planet, and we're really actually all part of a club together, man. We're all like brothers and sisters. You know, I know it's hard to sometimes see it that way, but I kind of see it that way, and I try to live my life that way. But sometimes that Italian, you know, Bronx comes out, and then you say, who is this guy? Who the hell does he think he is? You know, what can I say? Hey, listen, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And you take it easy, and if it's real easy, take it twice.